Hello everyone and welcome back to a live edition of Buff Breakdown, because you know the update happened right after the official stream, and that's when I went live to stream the other content as well. I figured, you know what, we'll do this on stream as well. So in fact, I haven't even looked at the buff yet, so this is all going to be as a raw of a reaction as it gets basically to this. I'll still do some cuts here and there, of course, but yeah, we got a skill buff to OG Kiyo, of course. Because, you know, she got that new costume. They figured, you know what, she's kind of bottom tier, so we might as well give her something more. So let's see here. This is the defense down that, you know, also buffs the enemy's attack. So let's see what they did on the text itself before we see numbers. So the defense down seems to be bigger now because it's orange. So that means they changed it. But the wording is still the same. So I assume they just made it bigger. Okay, cool. It was way too low for the demerit anyway. The demerit is still there, though. So the enemy still gets a 3-turn attack buff. And let's see, does this mean that she does burns for 3 turns on normal attacking? When attacking, if the enemy is burning, charge on gauge a little bit. And this can happen for 5 times 3 turns. Oh, I assume it's 10%, but so is this a potential 50? Oh, let's see, dude. Let's see some numbers. This could be pretty interesting. The name of the skill now is Super Positive Stalker A+. That's funny. What it used to be on a 5-turn cooldown, minus 24% defense down on one enemy for 3 turns, and then buff them with 20% attack for 3 turns. Not very good. Pretty damn terrible skill. So now, on the same 5-turn cooldown, they scaled it up to 30% defense down. I think they could have made it 40% because the demerit still sucks. It's still there, yeah, but now let's see what else they did. Oh, it's not burns, it's power mod on burn. Oh, that makes even more sense. So she gets 30% power mod on burn enemies for 3 turns. And then when she attacks an enemy that's burning, she gets 10% gauge for 5 times or 3 turns. So you can get 50% battery from this. And I believe it's any attacks, right? Yeah. Okay, so normal face cards, extra card, and the MP all work for this. So they all give her gauge back if they hit a burning enemy. So wait a minute. Now that I think about it, This wording is a bit unclear. If you have 3 enemies burning and you MP them, do you get 30% immediately? I would assume so, right? It probably still consumes 3 stacks out of the 5, right? Yeah, because the wording is not super clear on this, actually. Oh, wait, she didn't have a burn on her normal. She only has a burn amp. Are you kidding me? The burn was on the MP, Bro, I thought she had burns on like her skill or something. You still have to MP first to get burns anyway. I mean, yeah, you can use command codes, but it still means that one of the first face card also doesn't work. So I'm still thinking the burn damage is the same, right? They didn't touch the burn damage at all. It's still a meme, right? But she does get a power mod now against burnt enemies and gets gauge back from them. It definitely helps her damage, but... So this doesn't make her farm at all, right? Not really. It's just purely a boss thing, which is fine, of course. Not everyone has to be a farmer. But how impactful will this really be then? 30% is not a ton. It's good that it's obviously very easy to enable because, you know, she herself does a burn from her MP and then she has those, you can have command codes as well. So it's easy to enable, but it's still not the biggest amount. I feel like they could have made it 50%. Or make the defense down larger. Honestly, they should have made the defense down AoE as well. Okay, maybe that's what it would. Maybe keep it 30% for the power mod and the defense down. But why is the defense down not an AoE still? She's an AoE servant. This thing from her first skill is also AoE, this burn amp. Why is this still single target after the buff? Yeah, 30% would be a lot, obviously, on AoE for a skill. It would be a very... it would be a high amount, but I feel like for her it would be fine. She wouldn't be broken or anything like that. The demerit still sucks, yeah. It can actually be a bit scary on bosses. I mean, it's good, but will it really suddenly make her be picked more, though? I don't know. True, you can use a CC as well for the attack up. There are CCs that remove attack up buffs. So I guess she really relies on CCs now, huh? CCs to get those burns up easier, more, faster, and CCs to remove this attack up from the target. Honestly, if you have like all the burns on her, and some, you know, CC action to remove attack buffs, it's alright, it's pretty good. Yeah, true, I guess it is a 10-turn burn, right? On the MP. I just hate how janky the start is. That's my main issue. After the start, you're probably going to be pretty okay, though. Because this is still on a 5-turn cooldown, and it's basically a 50% battery. It's not an instant 50%. Unless it could sometimes be. Again, granted, all enemies are burning, you're hitting AoE. You MP and then do a Brave Chain. That's already 5 ticks. Presumably, if the MP works like I think it does, that, you know, if all enemies are, like 3 enemies are burning and you MP, you use 3 of these stacks and you get 30%. If it works like that, it can be an instant 50% refund. Oh, Stalker doesn't use 3 stacks. So you're saying it could maybe still give her 30%, but only use 1 stack? In which case, this is definitely way better then. You know what? Let's try it.
1 eternity later.
Okay, so now we activate this. Both of them have a burn, and we'll see what happens. So, again, it starts with 5 stacks. We're going to try out two things here. 1, does she get the refund from both of them? So it should refund 20% if it does. And then the other thing would be to check if it takes 1 or 2 stacks. Let's find out. So she does get both from both. Okay, so she got 20% back. So how many stacks did it take? It took only 1. Okay, so it is the best case scenario then. It gives you refund from every enemy hit, 10% per enemy that's burning, and it only takes 1 stack per MP. It's still Kiyo though, so like, if this was on someone else, this would be way better. She can farm now? No, she cannot, sadly. She can't farm because you need an existing burn on the enemies, and she can't easily get an existing burn on enemies for farm purposes. So this is only still a buff for her boss potential. Farming is still not happening. Definitely the best buff she's ever seen. Not that there's much competition for that. I don't think it's gonna overall change too much. I think Kiyo is still like a whatever burger. She might compete with Darius a little bit better now for DPSing. So maybe no longer D tier. Maybe she could even be like a C tier or something. But I don't think this will overall change too much. Because even from what I remember, even her attack stat is pretty low for a 3-star Berserker, which is unfortunate. Okay, I didn't test it, but I'm pretty sure if an enemy has more than 1 burn, she doesn't get 10% for every burn. I don't have to test that. I'm like 99% sure she only ever gets 10%. You can probably stack it with Koyan, like that. You can stack the effect itself though, right? If you do cooldown reduction. You can get 2 of those buffs, and then you can get like 20% per enemy burning that you hit. So an MP on 3 enemies would be like 60% then. Maybe that is actually interesting. Is that viable? That would make for an easy MP spam. But then when the cooldowns all go away, it's going to be really ugly though. And I doubt she can min-turn easily anyway. So if anything, she has an easy time MPing now if you bring the correct setup. But how much is that really worth at the end of the day, knowing it's Kiyo 3-star? So it really depends on that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go light on C right now. Maybe could be a bit higher, but I think she's just mostly still held back by its Kiyo that got this buff. But it's a good buff though. I'll say that much. The buff itself was way better than I thought it was originally when I looked at it earlier. So there's a buff breakdown once again. Maybe they'll release more buffs during this event too, because they've been releasing buffs like every week now, multiple times. So that's pretty cool. And most of these buffs have actually been good too, so yay for the Kiyo fans. Costume and buff, what more can you ask? I guess Summer could get buffed, but we'll see. Anyway, if you enjoyed that buff breakdown, do me a solid and press the thumbs up button on this video. It really helps out. And of course, do subscribe not to miss out on future videos, including buff breakdowns and other fun stuffs. And otherwise, hope to see you in the next one. Take care, and bye-bye.